welcome to Popcorn Planet. It's Kim, joined by Lewis from Nerd Report. We are taking over the channel. Why Lewis? Well, not Lewis. Lewis is here. Well, Andy is on vacation. Thank you guys so much for being here. We have just been discussing the resignation of Kimberly Cheatle, the former director of the Secret Service, and we have an article here I wanted to go through with you guys. So this was from Reuters, and it is the U.S. Secret Service chief resigns following the Trump assassination attempt. And here are some of the details of what happened. So, the U.S. Secret Service director resigned after the agency came under harsh scrutiny for its failure to stop a would be assassin from wounding former President Donald Trump during a campaign rally, the White House said on Tuesday. The Secret Service, which is responsible for the protection of the current and former U.S. presidents, faces a crisis after the gunman was able to fire on Trump from a roof overlooking the outdoor rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. The independent review will get to the bottom of what happened on July 13th. Continues, and I look forward to assessing its conclusions, which was what President Joe Biden said in a statement. We all know what happened that day can never happen again. And we do have the full statement. And if you are watching with us live right now, we will be getting to that statement after our recap. And if you want to see the full live, you can join our membership or join us on Patreon. And the full live will be made available to you once this portion is clipped down. So, Secret Service Deputy Ronald Rowe, the 24-year veteran of the agency, will serve as acting director. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said. So, the Secret Service faces investigations from multiple congressional committees and the internal watchdog of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, its parent organization, over its performance. Biden, who has ended his reelection campaign, has also called for an independent review. Cheatle faced bipartisan condemnation when she appeared before the House of Representatives Oversight Committee on Monday, declining to answer questions from frustrated lawmakers about the security plan for the rally and how law enforcement responded to the suspicious behavior of the gunman. And several Republican and Democratic lawmakers had called on her to resign. NBC was the first to report that Cheatle would leave her post. So, Lewis, I have to ask you, as we watched everything yesterday, and we just saw the complete incompetence and the stonewalling that happened. How do you feel about this move of her resigning? I know a lot of us were calling for it. Now that it's happened, are you happy about this? Where are you sitting?
Well, I don't know if I'm happy about it, but I mean, it's gonna make the Secret Service better, obviously, because now people know that there's a Secret Service. Believe it or not, the other day I was saying, like, look, all these cameras and stuff on people, government officials, is actually a good thing. Some call it a circus. I call it awareness, right? It's bringing awareness to it. And obviously, a lot of these government officials don't like the cameras on them. So, listen, and as far as her showing up today, how would you even show up? Come on. Like, she was, how many people pounded on her? Like, for
Yeah.
2.5 hours. And she really seems like a very tough lady to me. Like, you could tell, but there's only so much a human could take. And I personally think by the middle of that interrogation yesterday, she was done. She was done. You could just tell. I'm done. She didn't even probably even wake up this morning. She just put her alarm past the time of the meeting. She's just like, I gotta sleep in. Don't call me. Nice little tequila shot before going to sleep, and that's it. I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm going to Hawaii. So yeah, and I'm sure Kim and everyone watching, Congress was going to ask some really even tougher questions today.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very disappointed. They probably had like a books ready to, written down notes to up Miss Mace and everyone. So they wanted to one up everybody today. I'm sure today would have been worse.
Yeah, I could definitely see
Questioning.
that. I could
Yeah.
definitely see that. Um, so the article continues, while Director Cheadle's resignation is a step towards accountability, we need a full review of how these security failures happened so we can prevent them going forward. James Cormer, the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee, said in a statement, "We will continue our oversight of the Secret Service." So Cheadle, who has led the agency since 2022, told lawmakers she took responsibility for the shooting, calling it the largest failure by the Secret Service since then President Ronald Reagan was unfortunately shot in 1981. House leaders said on Tuesday they plan to form a bipartisan task force to probe the shooting. Much of the criticism has focused on the failure to secure the roof, an industrial building where the gunman was perched about 150 yards, that's about 140 meters, from the stage where Trump was speaking. The rooftop was declared outside the Secret Service's security perimeter for the event, a decision criticized by former agents and lawmakers. And I think it's also important to mention that the police did say that they did not have the manpower to be able to secure the area, which I think is huge, and a very important part of all of this. The roof, sorry, Cheadle held a top security role at PepsiCo when Biden named her Secret Service director in 2022. She's previously served 27 years in the agency. And she took over following a series of scandals involving the Secret Service that scarred the reputation of an elite and insular agency. Is that how you say it? Insular?
Insular.
Insular. Thank you.
At
Me
least
and
that's the way I
pronunciation
think
are
it's
not
said.
friends.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't read small words, but like
Yeah.
a lot of times I help Andy with the the long words. So it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So that's kind of where we're at on that front. Lewis, I do have a few other questions for you regarding this. One of the things that we heard from Kimberly Cheatle yesterday. Now, keeping in mind that she has resigned, so she's not in charge of this anymore, and we can't say that this is the way things are going to be moving forward. She did confirm that no one at the Secret Service had been fired due to this event, and that she would not confirm that anyone would be. So, my question would be now that she has resigned, do you think that more people need to resign, more people need to leave? Because, in all fairness, she was not the one to, have the final say in, oh, this is what we're going to do with the roof, right? Where do you sit on that?
Well, one thing I learned doing this kind of commentary is to try to be as logical as possible, and especially being very careful with my emotions, right? There's a lot of angry people here that just want to see people fired, but we don't exactly know the chain of command or how the Secret Service works. I mean, it's in their name, Secret Service.
Hmm.
It's a secret. So does the buck stop with her? Uh, or is there someone above her or on the sideways or someone else doing some in the chain of command that stopped her? I think that's something we're gonna know in the future if she's not under some kind of NDA or some kind of oath to the government that she can't even talk. But it's something that we want to know as taxpayers. We should be able to know. So, do I want people to be fired? I never want people to lose their job, of course. But I think if I knew more about that organization, which I don't think many people do, and there's other people that were supposed to be responsible and for the failure, then yeah, people should be fired. But right now, it just looks like everything's on her.
Yeah.
So
I think the other big question I have for you is
yeah.
what does the Secret Service need to do to regain the trust of America? Because I think it is safe to say right now that that trust is very, very broken. And even as the article said that we just read, that she had come in after a time of controversy, she had come in after there had been issues, and now she's leaving with arguably like a much larger issue. The attempted assassination of a former president. This is massive. So, what do you think needs to be done?
Listen, forget about it. Like they need to just forget about people trusting any branch of the government because there's a saying, people always remember that one time you messed up, and they never bring up the million times you were good at something or you did the right thing, right? So look, overwhelmingly, I'm sure they're great. The Secret Services, they've done their job. You know what? Since Ronald Reagan, that's a long time, right? But it's at one time, right? We're talking about the time they messed up, right? So they need to forget about public relations. Who cares what people say about them? But they need to do their job because having that slope excuse and the building so near the former president, that's just like ridiculous stuff. And there's nothing they need to implement, no new rule or procedure. There's got to be a procedure that you have to secure a building that's a few, you know, a yard or two away from this, president speaking. That's a procedure. They've got to take care. That's got to be in the book somewhere, and they were just too lazy to do it. They were too lazy to secure it. That's it. You
Yeah,
know. But as far as regaining confidence, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. We're gonna be talking about this for years. You know. So
it sounds good. I did have one last question for you on this. One of the things that
yeah.
Kimberly Cheatle revealed yesterday that was very shocking and actually had pretty much, I think, all of Congress in agreement was that apparently the Secret Service will be releasing a report of their own investigation, likely in 60 days. That is their timeline. To which all of the Congress people were like, that is not enough time because we are in election season. What do you think, now that we have different leadership in the Secret Service, what timeline would be acceptable to you?
Oh man,
Other than saying yesterday. Other than saying
yeah.
yesterday.
You know, I'm a big fan of getting things right away. Fast
Mhm,
food, aren't we all? I mean, you'd be lying if you're not. But I'm also a bigger fan of getting the reports correctly.
mhm.
So, does it affect the investigation in either way if I get it yesterday or in 60 days? If it affects it in a negative way where we don't get the proper report of what happened, then they shouldn't rush it. Of course, what's taking so long? Because people don't want to get sued. They want to get it right. But it, people are also suspicious. They don't trust government, right? They don't trust any branch of the government. 60 days, when I hear that, I think no one's going to care in 60 days,
Yeah,
especially with the news cycle, right?
yeah, that was something you were saying yesterday that you wondered if it might have actually been like a tactic. This idea that in
Could be.
60 days, are we going to be focusing on other things and not thinking about this? Do you still feel that way even after this resignation?
100%.
Okay.
Look at the since yesterday. Look at the things that have. Look at all the things that have changed since
Yeah.
yesterday. It's massive.
Yeah.
We
And
we would have like a 24-hour stream right now.
we could. Yeah, we literally
To
could.
really cover everything, right?
That
And
being,
then by the end of
yeah.
those 24 hours, we'd have more breaking news.
Yep. Yeah, it would be absolutely nonstop. And that being
Right.
said, we are going to continue to stream live here. If you're watching us live, sit tight. Do not go anywhere. If you're watching on the replay, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to support our work here, if you want to support this channel, there's lots of ways that you can do that. You can like this video, you can subscribe, you can leave comments if you want, you can take part in our chat, you can also join membership, and you can also support our Patreon and lots of other stuff that you can do to support Andy, especially while he is off. And if you enjoyed watching myself, I am It's Kim. I have my own YouTube channel, as well as Lewis has his own YouTube channel over at Nerd Report, and we would love to see you come over and check out our content as well. So again, if you're watching live, sit tight, don't go anywhere. We're just going to roll a little outro here, and we will be right back to you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.